The Shift is brought to you by SE Healthcare. Welcome to The Shift. I'm Dr. Andrea Coyle. Welcome back, Shifties, to the next episode of the Shift podcast. I'm so excited. I have a new guest. I'm going to introduce Jennifferre. And, it's really interesting. She has a great story of how she was a clinical care delivery nurse. And then she took innovation, swirled up with some entrepreneurship. And here we are. She has a great story. Jennifferre, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, excited to share. Hope that the story is inspirational to anybody out there who has an idea and wants to do more with it.
I love it. Jennifferre, if you could just share with the Shifties a little bit about when you worked in the clinical care delivery environment, and then what kind of shifted in your brain that you were like, I have an idea here. I want to shift my knowledge, my skill set in a different direction.
Yeah, I think that from a young age, I always wanted to fix problems. And, in healthcare, there's no shortage of problems that need to be fixed. They're literally everywhere you look. And, I think the first couple of years of nursing, you're just trying to find your foundation and what have you. And you notice things, but don't know what to do about them. And I think that after being a nurse for a while and having that innate need to want to fix the problems, I started just on my unit. If something wasn't working quite right, if it was a patient safety issue, if a workflow efficiency issue, just trying to find either a product or create one, or a policy or create one, or a program and create one that would solve for that pain point and make things better for my fellow healthcare workers and my coworkers, for the patients, for their families. And, that brought me a lot of joy. And I think the shift really came for me when I was trying to do things within my hospital organization and it felt like all the bureaucratic red tape, right? Like we all have experienced it, I'm sure. There's something that you want to get done and it just makes so much common sense, and for left and right reasons, we can't do it. And I think that that really set wrong in my soul. Like if there is a way that we can make things better for people, for patients, we should do it. And that liberty was given to me through entrepreneurship, and the way that events kind of unfolded led me to have the opportunity to jump full time into it, and build my company, Adni, which I'm so excited about. But I think that was the shift, knowing that there was so much that needed to be accomplished within healthcare and meeting the obstacles and the walls and wanting to try and find a way to overcome those.
Okay, I love what you said, Jennifferre, and I'm going to shift gears a little bit. And I just used the word shift again.
Ah,
You said something, SE Healthcare, which is the company that sponsors the podcast, and they're a company focused on clinician, creating a culture of awareness of burnout, management of burnout. You said something that you had these ideas. I'm paraphrasing. You had these
mhm.
ideas, but it felt like it just kind of landed on deaf ears. I'm just paraphrasing.
Yeah,
And believe it or not, that is something that really contributes to burnout.
absolutely.
And it's like you just keep running into the wall and into the wall. And finally, you're like, I'm just going to figure this out myself. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did, Jennifferre. Remind me, I know you had mentioned this to me. What was your clinical background?
For the majority of my bedside clinical background, I worked in neonatal intensive care, so the NICU. And so I did that for about 7.5 years or so. And then prior to the NICU, I worked telemetry. So I worked with both adults and neonates. And so that's my clinical background. And then for the last 4 or so years, I've been building Adni full time.
Okay, does Adni stand for something? Is it an acronym for something?
It is not an acronym for something, but it is the Latin root word for support and lean on, which is what we aim to do for healthcare workers, be something that they can lean on and that we can offer support to them.
Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. So tell me, you were in the neonatal ICU, and obviously you found something, you wanted to figure something out, do things differently, innovate. Tell us about what it was, what got you to where you are right now with Adni Company? Is it Adni Company or just Adni?
It's just Adni.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it honestly was a journey. I don't think that I took an idea that was specific that I was working on at the hospital because there was several. There was different projects. There was a neonatal feeding project that I was working on. There was a device that I made that helped with the dispense of line labels, programs that helped with if there was a child loss, being able to recognize that if a family had experienced that. So there's several different things. And I think that the crux of it was um, there was a program that they had initiated within the organization that was supposed to help with innovation, but really it was only commercializable ideas. So if there was a healthcare worker clinician that brought an idea to the table and it wasn't deemed commercializable, it was dropped. Nothing became of it. And I thought that that was such a disservice to the patients and the healthcare workers and safety concerns if there is a product or an idea or a piece of education or a policy that could help improve something, that there should be somewhere that those ideas can go where they can gain feet and traction and make a difference. And I proposed the idea of what if there was a committee where whatever party decided that these ideas are not commercializable, then those ideas went to this committee and we would be able to go ahead and decide would this would this be helpful in helping reduce this, improve this, help with patient safety? And if they are, what can we do to kind of give this idea some legs and help it to come to fruition? That was pretty much shot down, which was disappointing to hear. And I think that was the turning point for me. And in the background, I had things moving in a different direction with an opportunity to move into entrepreneurship, which was Adni, Adni's flagship product, which was done by Lumify. We did a kind of a rebrand a few years ago, but we began as Lumify and we created a wearable light for healthcare workers. So it would be specifically for the healthcare setting with lighting that was designed for healthcare, and it would allow healthcare workers to go into patients' rooms and care for them independent with both hands without needing to go ahead and disturb them. And that was kind of what was running in the background. So with all of this happening and not being able to gain traction with making great change, everything happens to a reason. For a reason, I was able to segue and pursue entrepreneurship full time, which has been such a blessing and something that I'm very grateful for.
That's a great story. And, I always have burnout on the brain. And I know some people are like, oh, I don't even like the word burnout. And I get it. I can understand the negative connotation. I also understand that the World Health Organization and all these nursing and healthcare articles, Becker's, everybody calls it burnout.
Hmm.
But what's interesting is you you took head on one of the things that contributes to burnout, which is banging your head, you don't have autonomy, people aren't listening, and you took it into your very flagship product, which helps decrease burnout another way, which is resources for clinicians to help their workflow easier. When you develop something that nurses can use in the care delivery environment that makes their workflow easier, is better for the patient, you're decreasing burnout. So that's the beauty of all the work you're doing. And it's worth saying thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that. I think that that is definitely a component in what contributes to burnout, right? Like not feeling seen, not feeling heard. And I think at the crux of from the beginning, even with the flagship product, even into how we are building Adney now, it is wanting to build tools and services that support healthcare workers in ways that they need, in ways that maybe not found in organizations, but are definitely needed, rooted in community and resource. And if that's new job opportunities, if that's kind of lessening the burden by having a credential wallet and everything in one place and not having to go like place to find everything because that's inefficient, that's time consuming. And how can we go ahead and create a product that's going to reduce those burdens and help kind of lighten the load in that sense. And so that was very much a portion of like why, like a part of why we were building Adni.
And you said something else. So at SC Healthcare, we actually, our clients, and one of our big partners is ANA, American Nurses Association. When we look at what nurses and clinicians rate as their top stressors, workload, and you just said lighten their workload. Workload's one of the top stressors all the time. And any time that someone who is up close and personal with the care delivery environment comes up with something that can help the people delivering the care, it's a win-win for everybody. It's also a win for our patients.
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, it always comes down to patient care, right? And like that's where the dollars and the funding are also. So if you can go ahead and shine a light on what the ROI is at the very end of the spectrum when it comes to patients, then that's great. Then there you go.
Exactly. So shine the light. And did you say that on purpose because your first legacy product was a light? Shine the light. I love that.
Oh, it wasn't on purpose, but there are so many times that you can go ahead and make that inference because light and bright and shiny things are all around us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Jennifferre, every time at the end of the podcast, we leave the shifties with a couple takeaways. First of all, I have to say, Jenniffer's last name is Mancillas.
Mancillas.
Ah, and so Shifties, I was struggling to pronounce her last name and I struggled again, but I did not want to leave out Jenniffer's last name because she's someone that you really need to connect and follow with. Jennifferre, if you could give two key takeaways, what would you share with the Shifties?
I would say if you have an idea, find your people. It is very difficult to go ahead and bring anything across the finish line on your own. It takes a lot of resources and it takes a lot of opinions and thought. Um, and when you can go ahead and find your people, the people who are going to encourage you, who are going to give you insight, who may not challenge you in negative ways, but in all of the best ways to make you think about how you can make your idea better and encourage you to keep going because the path can be kind of difficult sometimes, as we know as entrepreneurs. Or even inventors, when you're trying to create something, there are more no's and misses than there are hits and wins. But the wins matter, and those only happen when you have great people around you to build you up and help you get there. So find your people would be my first one. And second, and just jump in. I think that there's never a good time. There's never a right time. The stars will never align exactly. Your horoscope will never say today's the day, with very with specificity, so I think being able to go ahead and just know that you have an idea and not being afraid to share it and jump in. I think sometimes we get very like trepidatious. And I think even back to when we were creating the Unite Light, that flagship product of ours, like we were given the advice of like, don't tell anybody because there's patents and don't tell anybody because then they can steal your idea. But like having to get over that initial don't tell anybody because if you don't tell anybody, you can't grow and you can't be able to get the support you need. So those are a few of bits of advice. And then also, if you are a healthcare worker and you want support, you're looking for a new job, you're looking for resources, you're looking for products that are created by other healthcare workers, you're looking for community, a place that people can understand you, can get it, know that you can vent, you can come and vent anonymously, whatever you need. Adni is that one-stop shop support system for you, and we'd love to be able to welcome you to our community.
And I love that you said that, Jennifferre. I love that SE Healthcare and now Adni, we're part of the community because really, at the end of the day, we're all in this together. And I love what you said. Jump in. Don't be so fearful. And for the record, Shifties, there are no secrets. Social media has taken away all secrets.
Pretty
So
much,
if you have a
yeah.
good idea, it's pretty confident that it's going to be out there in the universe.
Everybody can have good ideas. It's what you do with that idea that matters.
And it is hard work. And sometimes it is like pushing a piece of pasta up a hill. but you have to keep going. So I commend you for your great work. I thank you for your leadership, your entrepreneurial spirit. I'm so glad that we're both nurses, and thank you for being on the shift.
Thank you for having me. It was great being able to talk with you all.
You bet. So shifties, remember, your shift makes the difference. Keep shifting. Enjoying the shift? Help us reach more nurse leaders by rating and reviewing us on your podcast app. It takes just a minute, but makes a big impact. Search for The Shift, tap those stars, and share what you love. Your feedback shapes our future episodes and helps others discover us. Remember, rate, review, and amplify the shift today.